Let's segue to Los Angeles Lakers in the West Coast, shall we?
La
They've
La
been
Land.
they've been making some moves this offseason. They acquire a Orlando Magic second round pick, a kind of ritual on Orlando's end, and they take Max Christie, a shooter out of MSU that underwhelmed as a freshman, big, long, lanky Wayne. They then get Scottie Pippen Jr., a guy from Vanderbilt who has NBA heritage and tutelage, led the SEC, I believe, in points, one of the top scorers and assist guys, steals. They then signed Juan Toscano Anderson from Golden State, Thomas Bryant from Washington, Troy Brown also from Washington, and Chicago. I think he's kind of trash. Damian Jones out of Sacramento, and Lonnie Walker from San Antonio. And speaking of San Antonio, there have been some rumblings. We're talking about Kyrie, that in a potential three-team deal where the Lakers are giving up some of those young players I mentioned, Taylor Horton Tucker, a few pick swaps, and some first over to Brooklyn's part, that the Spurs, the newly rebuilding, newly minted Greg Popovich Spurs, they'd be willing to absorb Russell Westbrook's contract as a third party, so the Nets wouldn't have to deal with that BS. And by BS, I mean just, dealing with Russell Westbrook for a year. And the Spurs would just probably look to negotiate a buyout with Russ so he can go to a contender, but our team would be willing to take him. I got a question for you guys. What is the next move for the Lakers in a Western Conference where they're making these cute moves? They're prioritizing the youth movement. I think it's a good thing to get these younger players that have some upside. And as we saw Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn, though he was hurt last year, they can maybe realize that with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and a young head coach who has been all over the league. He's been with playoff teams. He's been with the Lakers before. He's won to a title. He's won a championship. He's seen it all. And you think to yourself, okay, with him coming in, maybe this team actually can continue to develop the young talent that they've not only signed but drafted. But you say to yourself, the Western Conference, the Clippers, the Warriors, those are proven teams. You got the Suns, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Timberwolves, adding in Rudy Gobert. It's a player that makes you a top 10 defense immediately. For the Lakers, what's going to set them apart as LeBron continues to age? Brandon,
Yo.
let's hear it.
So, what do I think the Lakers' next step is? I think, I mean, what I said a couple episodes is I think Kyrie to the Lakers is the biggest option for them. I think it's their best option. Um, I
Only?
don't. Oh, yeah, kind of their only option, really, too. Because I mean, when you get strapped with, I think it's 47 million with Russell Westbrook, and he's I mean, let's just be honest. Like a lot of people love him. A lot of people that's he's a lot of people's favorite players. Nobody will ever question his energy on the court. He's going to give you everything he's got.
What about on the
But let's
defensive
be honest,
end?
huh?
What about his energy on
On
the
the
defensive
defensive end,
end?
not so much, but offensively, he's going to give it you all. He's going to chase those rebounds.
Chase those turnovers?
Yeah. Well,
Huh.
that's another thing when you're playing a little too fast and you get a little out of control and you don't have the best hands. It's a recipe for disaster. So I mean, if we're being honest, I think Westbrook is God, man. Because here's the thing. I think that if he went to a team like let's just say Orlando or something, a bad team that he can be like the not the best player, but you know what I mean, like the face of that team for a year because he's going to be the biggest star on the team. I think Westbrook can still give you like 23, 8-8 or 9-9 for a season. I think he can still do that, to be honest with you. Um, but the field goals percentage is going to be really bad. He's going to take a lot of shots to get to that 23. His 3-point percentage is not going to be good. I think he was worst in the league this year at 3-point shooting. His
No, that
free
was
throw
his
percentage.
teammate Anthony Davis for volume shooters.
Sure.
Yeah. But he didn't play as much as Westbrook. So um, but yeah, Westbrook, I mean, the free throw percentage has just fallen off a cliff from I think he averaged 80% one year at his best, and now he's down to 60 something percent from the free throw line. Like that's just what's going on? That's gotta be an up here thing, you know what I mean? So with the Lakers, I think their best option and their kind of only option is Get out of Westbrook's contract, get Kyrie in there. I think if when you got Kyrie, LeBron, and AD, I think that instantly makes you a top 4, top 3 team in the West when you got that type of talent.
Hmm, really?
So, yeah,
Because
I
I
mean
look
I
at
mean,
that.
think about it, John, like, you got Kyrie who we can say whatever you want about his off the field stuff, but when he's on the court and he's one of the most possibly the most skilled, player on the offensive side of the ball we have ever seen. Possible, top 1, top 2 handles ever in the NBA.
Shooting,
Clutch
finishing.
clutch shoot yeah, shooting, finishing, clutch shooter, not afraid to take the shot. He's proven with LeBron that they can win a championship, that they can be successful. You got LeBron, who's arguably one of the best leaders in the NBA history. He'll still give you 25, 8 and 8, 25, 26, 8 and 8, 9 and 9. AD, hopefully, knock on wood, he stays healthy. AD is good for 25, 27, and 12 a night with like a block and a half a game if he stays healthy. I mean, we've seen it when
Okay,
he's healthy, he
I
can
got
do it.
I got to step in. Justin,
Okay.
I just want to say this one thing real quick. So you said they were a top four team in the West. Where that starts is with the regular season. We can't just jump to the playoffs as we did last year. It's not how the NBA works. We got 82 games, then we got 100. It's not 100 and then 82. It doesn't go like that. LeBron last year played 56 games, which means he missed almost 30. Anthony Davis missed over half the season. Kyrie Irving, do we know how many games he played? 29. Now, obviously, that was because of mandates in New York City where he's not allowed to play at home. But as we saw the year before, he was just taking random leaves. And we've seen with his injuries in the postseason, he's only played over 60 games since 2017, last 6 years, one time. That's three players who consistently won't be on the court for you, and they're all aging, especially LeBron, and they can't give you 70 games. We know that. And with that in mind, Anthony Davis, he's good for 25 a night. If he's healthy, I'm done with this, man. Can we stop at this? If I say if TJ Warren's healthy, he's getting 22 a game, or if let's say name XY player, if he can do this, if he can do, why is Anthony Davis getting this special badge of honor? Because he had one run in the bubble. That's it. Because LeBron is not the young. He's not as young as he was then. Anthony Davis has only regressed since then. We saw in the bubble, it was fluky. It was weird. He's never shot like that since the bubble. The shooting has fallen off a cliff. So I'm tired of that. I know it was awesome watching Anthony Davis dominate and be the Lakers' best player in that playoff run, but we got to come to reality, fellas. We're never seeing that Anthony Davis again, more likely than not. The shooting, the athleticism, it's all fallen off.
Yeah, but we may not see that version of Anthony Davis again, but we can still get an elite Anthony Davis. It's not saying the guy's still young. He's not in his 30s. He can still play ball. So I'm with Brandon in the sense if you add Kyrie to that team, that's a top four team in the West. And the whole reason why I'm saying that is because how old's LeBron now? 36?
36, turning
36,
37.
37 in
Okay.
December, I think.
So we need somebody to alleviate that stress. So having a guy AD, obviously the big if is if he's healthy. Kyrie's in the fold as well. There's so many weapons there that he can take that game off. He can take some time off. If AD needs time off,
Who are
that's
the other weapons?
Kyrie.
Lonnie
I'm saying,
Walker? Thomas Bryant?
I'm saying the three stars, bro. I'm saying the three stars.
Listen, man, John, if you have those top 3, you can fill out the role players with just solid or adequate players, and you can still be a top team in this league. I mean, come on, man, you're gonna really question the all 3 of these guys' talent? Like, that would be an elite trio with those 3.
So I made a mistake before. LeBron's 37, he's turning 38.
38, okay.
The, no one's denying their talent. We know how skilled they are, but when you're looking at winning basketball games, it's so much more than just skill. I think in basketball, we pay attention to what's appealing to the eye, and we neglect to look at the intangible traits, which LeBron has, but does Kyrie had that? Because he hasn't bought in since the 2016 playoff run for a playoff team. And like Anthony Davis, does he have the drive and motor to continue doing what he did in the bubble? Like, let's keep in mind, he had a 4-month hiatus, allowing him to stay healthy for that playoff run. He's never going to get that again. And I'm looking at the team around them. Their next best player is Thomas Bryant coming off a torn ACL. He almost hasn't played basketball the last 2 years. Troy Brown, that's their perimeter stopper. Good luck with that. You'll see how that goes. Because the Bulls, they tried that and it didn't work too well. Lonnie Walker, he can shoot 31% from three. Can that play off LeBron? I don't think so. Has he improved as a defender? Sure, but you need to be able to shoot. What's up?
Is there a more talented trio when healthy than the possibility of Kyrie, AD, and LeBron on the court?
No.
And now I know it's a big if, but seriously, is there a more talented group?
You look at Golden State and the Clippers, I say no.
So if we
Same.
get if it's possible, if we can get them all on the floor, if they can be healthy and play,
Do
what's
you,
enough? I think if they can get 50, 60 games together,
That's what I'm saying. I think that's
on
really all you
average.
need.
yeah.
I think that's really all you need with all three of them. And I think Justin hit on it a little bit before. Like one night, AD can take a game or two off, let Kyrie and LeBron work. Vice versa. You just interchange them. That's what it was supposed to be with Westbrook. Like they were supposed to, like if AD needed some time off or something, Westbrook and LeBron could do it. If LeBron needed some time on, Westbrook and AD could do it. And it fell apart. I think you take Westbrook out of that situation, you put in Kyrie. That is a massive upgrade, massive, because of how poorly Westbrook played and fit with this team. So I just see it as like, I mean, I'm never going to count LeBron out. LeBron's shown us never to count him out. Yes, he's fallen on some tough times with the injuries as of late, but before that, the man was Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's had to take on a larger role than he wanted to. I mean, let's be honest. When he came to LA and they traded for AD was supposed to take the reins for LeBron as he was aging, and he hasn't yet. Then they bring in Westbrook, and it was supposed to alleviate some pressure on LeBron and let him take get. People talk about it's hard to find rest in game, like while you're playing the game, but you can in some moments. Like LeBron at one point in the offensive series can go stand in the corner and let Westbrook and AD and the team cook while he just takes a playoff or whatever. So, but it just didn't work out because the team didn't fit. AD got hurt again. I think LeBron got injured, right? Yeah, LeBron got injured. Westbrook played freaking every game basically except for the last three that they sat him out for, which is just like, okay,
Perfect.
great, we got you. Could we have switched Westbrook for LeBron or Westbrook for AD and get this and switch those games around? Nah, you got Westbrook. And it just showed that it was not a great fit. It didn't work. And I love how people, I think I saw a stat like a month ago or something about Westbrook in like the final 10 games or something of this season. He like averaged
I don't care. I don't
pretty
care.
exactly. And that's my point. I don't care. The league has basically been decided by then. Teams aren't giving you the hardest motor unless they're trying to fight into the playoffs. That means nothing to me. That Westbrook show. Where was that the first 70 games of the season?
Let me say something real quick. Numbers are nice. Yeah, apply context to it. You look at Jokic's numbers, you apply the surrounding. Then you look at Westbrook, you say to yourself, okay, he led the team in rebounds. Do I want my point guard leading my team in rebounds? Because odds are that means he can't shoot and he needs the ball in his hands. Otherwise, you see Steph Curry and all these other great players, they can sprint up the floor and space it out of the break. Russ can't do that. Is him leading the team in assists when he's our point guard with the highest usage and beyond that constantly turn over the ball a good thing? I don't think so. Is him scoring at a high level when he's consistently dropped off as a finisher, one of the worst mid-range shooters sometimes? Like, he actually shoots like around 40% from there, but some of the misses are horrific. And then from 3-point range, he's not even scratching 30%. Defensively, if we're going to talk about numbers, we're playing context. Let's talk about the defense. We'll talk about the miserable off-ball attention sometimes he has. Looks like a middle schooler out there. I'm not saying this to be a hater, but people aren't pointing to this Wycombe basketball reference. It won't tell you that stuff. And one Google search is not going to apply the context to why the Lakers this last season didn't even scratch 40 wins, excuse me. I'm sick and tired of the number crap. Look at Julius Randle. Sure, he's putting up 20, 10, and 5, but, apply some context to that, man. Speaking on your guys' points, I think one of the bigger things, Darvin Ham coming in. That's a player who will get the buy-in. He's a former player. Frank Vogel wasn't that. And we see with coaches, Terry Stotts, Brad Stevens, if you're not a former NBA player, it is tough for players to buy into your strategy and your scheme you're trying to implement, even if you're winning a title. If it's not working and they're seeing there's no high ground. Like, our season's done, it's over, we're done, we're out. We saw it last year with Frank Vogel, and his strategy wasn't working because he didn't have the same personnel he had in that 2020 playoff run. The bigs, the wing defense. It just wasn't there. Now with Darvin Ham, I think the biggest X factor for this Lakers team is that collective buy-in. I'm tired of hearing the word if. Let's replace that if. How? Will. Can Anthony Davis stay healthy? How will that look? What will it take? How will LeBron James avoid injury? Well, Kyrie Irving gets you 60 games. Okay, now all of a sudden, there's less burn on him. Defensively, last year he's playing a lot of center. If Anthony Davis is healthy, you don't got to worry about the defensive woes that come with LeBron not trying on that end. That is the Lakers' X factor. I think the Thomas Bryant move is cool, a big that can shoot and roll to the rim, but he's coming off injury. You can't rely on or bank on that. We saw Malik Monk last year. Give the Lakers great stuff. Doesn't matter when those stars are not giving you what you need. That's kind of my take. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I mean, I would have loved to see them keep Malik Monk, but I mean, he I think he went to the Lakers to try to compete and win a championship, and then I think it all came to flames, and he just said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go get my money." So there was no chance of them even retaining him. Uh, I mean, with the Lakers, I just think it is, and I know you hate the word if, but I think it is a big if. And but I think, I mean, I saw social media post, I think a week or so ago, of AD in the gym. I think his trainer said he's been in the gym for the past like however many days it was, getting up shots at like 4:50 in the morning, and I forget how many shots they said they were taking per day. It was like 400 or something much higher. That's a good sign. That's a good step forward. I know you're smiling there and you're like, "Oh, I'm not impressed. I need to see it on the court." But that, that shows at least he's taking the right steps to showing that he's going to take care of and get better as a shot. Now, how is he going to take care of his body? I don't know. Maybe he needs to go freaking work out with LeBron more because LeBron's an Iron Man. I think
Just
his
lock him
last
in Just lock him in Kevin Garnett's home.
yeah,
Continue.
lock him with Kevin Garnett or
Mhm.
something, or go visit Dwayne Wade's former trainer, who really revolutionized him and helped him out when he had those major knee problems and was able to get really good production from Wade when his body was starting to just fail him. Um, but yeah, I mean, with LeBron, I think it was I forgot what was the can you remind me what injury was it this year? What was it the
Uh,
guy who ran? It wasn't the guy who ran into his leg, right?
that
That
was
was a year
2021
previous.
Solomon
Yeah.
ACL. This
Do you remember
last
what it
year,
was this year?
it was either quad or calf. Don't quote me on that because I didn't check. But he missed, at least a month and a half from that.
Was it like was it I think something he bumped into somebody or somebody hit his leg, right? It wasn't just like he's running up the court or something driving and then the leg gave out on him or something. I don't think it was that. So because I don't think we've ever seen LeBron just like, like what Kawhi happened with Kawhi. He's driving up the court like a kind of bump into I think it was Joe Ingles or whatever, and then that's like a torn ACL. We've never seen that from LeBron. It's more been like somebody diving into his leg and it freaking freak accident. He was still able to play for a little bit on that.
I made a mistake. I was thinking of the injury from 2019. That was where he just had over a month and a half. It was an abdominal injury in November where he missed. It was almost 3 weeks. And then over the year, he was starting to miss some more time. He was resting for some
Yeah,
road
load
trips.
management.
But yeah, he missed some time at the very end of the season. That's like 7 games, and then like five in between, 5 or 6, and then it was like 8 or 9 to start the season. Or actually, it's like 13. But at one point, he missed 8 straight games to the middle of November. So yeah,
Yeah. So I think it's just with LeBron. I think if those freak accidents don't happen, I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I mean, he spent over $1 million on his body. He really showed like him and Tom Brady have really revolutionized the way athletes take care of their body and are paving the way for how athletes should take care of their body in the future. So I believe in LeBron. I believe he can get these guys ready to go for this. And I just I think the NBA is a better product when LeBron is in the discussion in the playoffs. I think it's just there's not a lot really to talk about as much. It's not as interesting when LeBron's not in there because LeBron is the most interesting man in the NBA. Let's be honest. There's always something to talk about with LeBron. Everybody loves
Yep.
talking about LeBron, whether it's negative or positive. They all love LeBron, and I think he enjoys it a lot of the time. I think he enjoys the attention. I mean, I would love it if I was LeBron. I love the attention for people to give me. So
Well, I'm with you guys. I'm with you, Brandon. Uh, I really do think the Lakers are just one big what if, but I don't doubt LeBron either. I mean, when the guy tells me that he is not missing the playoffs again, damn right, I'm just gonna believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see. I think this was a bit of a fluky year. I everything literally all the cards were terrible. Everything went wrong. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong,
Yep.
and that's never happened in a LeBron season before. So this, like I said, it's fluky. I could see the Lakers bouncing back next season with or without Russ. They still need to make some moves, but like I said, uh, I believe the Lakers will be in contention next season, and
Mm.
LeBron's name will be the highlight of our summers when we're watching some playoff basketball again.